right? So there's been a lot of interest into healthcare from the private equity side when it comes to investments. And over the last few years, and what we see is that it's only accelerating, right? It's not slowing down, it's picking up year on year. What in your view is driving this?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, Sandeep and Dr. Arun, for inviting me here, and Dr. Malik. It's a real pleasure to be here. Let me just put a little bit of a perspective in terms of why we are seeing this acceleration of private capital behind India's healthcare ecosystem. You know, the foremost reason for it is that if you take a look at public healthcare spending or the government spending on healthcare, for the longest period of time, it has gravitated itself in the region of about 1.2% of our GDP. Now, because our GDP is expanding, so you really continue to see some momentum of growth. But we are amongst the lowest around the world in terms of our government spending on healthcare. So minimal, even in our surrounding regions, we have government spending in the region of about 5 to 6% of GDP. So effectively for 1.4 billion people, 1.3, 1.4 billion people, if healthcare has to be stepped up, how do you expect to achieve it if the government spending is going to be so low? And that was the reason why the origin of private healthcare got created in this country. And that is also now the reason as to why there is so much of interest in terms of funding of these enterprises by the private equity funds, because they see the demand-supply gap in healthcare being so huge that until and unless capital comes in to sort of create more infrastructure, capital comes in to create more technology, capital comes in to basically support clinicians who are building out these enterprises, that's when the gap is going to actually get reduced. And I think India is also developing so quickly beyond the large metros and tier 1 cities. And as we go down the path of the tier 2 cities, the need for organized healthcare even that much more. So that's really the reason why there is so much of private equity interest. In fact, there is no single healthcare chain today which is not funded by private equity in this country. So it just goes to show that private capital is actually playing a big role in terms of the growth of the healthcare sector in India.